time.
What's all this ruckus? Sounded worse than a dozen tomcats fighting over the world's last mackerel. Your snips, it catches, she still, and I did this. There's no to but I want and.
Undead orcs? Well, looks like we have our work cut out for us.
At least we won't be bored. How about we go see that Aureus chap afterwards?
Vengeance will be ours.
The ship's blazing even higher.
Round this way.
I said to him, I said myself, if I don't start earning an extra gold piece in that, I'll wash out.
Plenty of fish in the sea, but I've got the foulest of the lot on my hands.
Fresh haddock, perfect for a fry-up.
Borrow indeed. I'll sooner meet a cat wizard than see that merchant repaid.
Come now, I'll be good for it, I swear. Oh, my story's tired by now. I was happy enough, prosperous enough, before these lean times around Sicil began. Still, that doesn't waive a man's need to eat, you know. I never would have dreamt of resorting to petty theft during better times, but what choice have I got now? If it's steal... So what do you think? Should I snag a fish?
I'm straight. I'm true. Irish by the cousins.
That merchant has to eat too, you know. Leave the fish alone.
Yes, you know what they say about giving a man a fish. This man should learn to stand on his own 2 feet. I suppose you've got a point. Another day, another rumbling belly. Fed a hungry man, you know.
No better solution to the zombie problem than a set of silver arrows. What sort of arrows? Well, what sort of arrows do you want? Free?
Well, hello there.
Well, what sort of arrows? Well, what sort of arrows do you want? Freezing? Silver? Poison? Get to the point.
Aaron has as many friends as the man with many cheeses.
Red and orange, yellow and green, the finest veggies Sicefields ever seen.
Potions to bemuscle you, scrolls to entussle you.
Not in the mood for cheese. That excuse is more holes than a slice of this fine Norman there.
Join the Spud Club if you've got an eye for farm potatoes.
Toe of snake, wing of worm, brew and spice them, stir and churn.
Join the Spud Club if you've got an eye for farm potatoes. Well, what sort of arrows do you want? Freezing? Silver? Poison? Get to the point.
Not in the mood for cheese. That excuse is more holes than a slice of this fine Norman there.
Lonesome, spiritless. Perhaps wrestling an earth elemental will inject some vim into your routine.
Not in the mood for cheese. That excuse is more holes than a slice of this fine Norman there.
Join the Spud Club if you've got an eye for farm potatoes.
Let's see. Halibut, sheep's cheese, tomatoes.
Heavenly herring, delicious dogfish, yours for a scrap of gold each. Potions to bemuscle you, scrolls to entussle you. Heavenly herring, delicious dogfish, yours for a scrap of gold each.
Aaron has as many friends as the man with many cheeses.
Join the Spud Club if you've got an eye for farm potatoes.
Toe of snake, wing of worm, brew and spice them, stir and churn.
Let's see. Halibut, sheep's cheese, tomatoes.
Not in the mood for cheese. That excuse is more holes than a slice of this fine Norman there.
A good day to you.
Toe of snake, wing of worm, brew and spice them, stir and churn.
Let's see. Halibut, sheep's cheese, tomatoes.
Fresh haddock, perfect for a fire. Toe of snake, wing of worm, brew and spice them, stir and churn.
Red and orange, yellow and green,
to bemuscle you, scrolls to entussle you.
Well, hello there. About time the camp.
Red, orange, yellow, green.
No better solution to the zombie problem than a set of silver arrows.
Ah, hello, proportionate one. Oh, I can see from the symmetry in your face that you are a great fan of the fine arts, no?
Fresh haddock, nothing more fire. Lonesome, spiritless. Gracious patron, I see your tired eyes looking a bit teary. I've just the potion for that. Or would you prefer a toasty fire spell to dry those vapours?
The moon for cheese. That excuse is more hose than a slice of this fine golden fat.
No better solution to the zombie problem than a set of silver arrows.
I am Esmeralda, wife of Jake, and now, alas, his widow. Poor man. We were both so young when we married. He so rich and I so poor, but his one and only princess just the same. Like I told just about every legionnaire in town, I don't know anything about poor Jake's murder. I want his killer found and tried, but everyone suspects me of this evil deed. And you're no different, are you? So what happened? Some of them tittle-tattling crab chasers down the pub call me a murderous gold digger and you believe them? These insinuations truly go beyond the pale. Oh, I think I'm getting one of my headaches. Well, what do you want to know? Sicil. Would you believe this dying metropolis was rather recently one of the realm's greatest assets? Our trade routes were the busiest thoroughfares in the land, before the undead took to dragging their carcasses across them. I've heard that once they're animated, the undead feel all the rage and violence their living counterparts felt during life. Can you imagine living...
Quite adamant about her innocence.
We'll need to look for evidence if we want to prove she actually did the evil deed.
The hunter returns! I hope you are here to shop rather than sleuth.
Leave me be, I have a job to do.
And what questions are those? The Sicilians used to say this was a chosen place, favored by the higher powers. But they don't talk like that much these days. Hard to feel favored with such horrors haunting every book. Don't even mention those rotten carcasses to me. They're the reason we've been stuck in this dead-end town for nigh on 2 bloody years. All fun and games in the beginning, but just you lose a couple of friends fighting those fiends. Get used to lousy rations and have but drink and dice for entertainment. And you'll soon come to realize that out of hundreds of cohorts the world round, yours drew the short straw.
Lonesome? Spiritless? Perhaps wrestling an earth elemental will inject some vim into your routine.
You there! A moment of your indulgence, if you please. You are the source hunter? No, scratch that. It is so much more than a delight. It is an intervention of fate. Yes, that's it. Fate has put me on this very spot so I may tell you all about a most intriguing opportunity indeed. Oh, it's not merely an opportunity. It is a once-in-a-lifetime chance to become better. To become the full extent of the promise that is locked inside of each and every one of us. So first of all, let me ask you this question. Do you like adventure?
Any takers? Come on, you chickens!
Of course I do. How could someone in my profession not?
Quite right. Adventure is what we live for. See here. You and I share the same passion.
cheese on your block with a wheel of the good stuff.
Well, I can't say that I haven't.
Yes, some extra gold is always welcome.
Indeed. Indeed, gold is always welcome. And among the fabulous five, gold flows as freely as water does to the sea. Even so, my friend, matters of a pecuniary nature aside, what is life without variety, without spice? To be a source hunter must get frightfully dreary sometimes. Am I right? All those orders. Investigate this, retrieve that, and at the end of the day, what do you have to show for it? Wouldn't you prefer to call your own shots? Be...
Delicious dogfish. Yours for a scrap of gold each.
It's better to lead than to follow. That much is true.
Get it while it's fresh.
Better to be served than to serve, I concur.
Well spoken. Well said indeed. Life's too short to spend it doing someone else's bidding, am I right? Of course I am. And I could help you attain the dream. Enact the change you deserve. And that is exactly why I am here. Why fate has put me right by the door to the King Crab, so that I could meet you and tell you about the marvel that is the Fabulous Five. The invitation to join is yours. Grab it. Ah, the fabulous... You'd like nothing more than to enlist, wouldn't you? Of course you would. And you can. Of course, if you still have questions, I shall answer them to the best of my ability. What a gem of a question. Straight as an arrow, sharp as a switchblade. Most meritorious of you. Now then, to join the Fabulous Five is to join a fellowship, to join a fraternity, a sorority, a community. The title of Knight is bestowed upon you the moment you sign our waiver, and so it all begins. I shall be the one to give you your first contracts, and once the job is done, I shall see to it you get your fair share of the reward. Of course, should you spread the word, should you propagate the gospel of the Fabulous Five and thereby draw new knights into our fellowship, you will get a share of the reward from their contracts too. Isn't that wonderful? By now, the genial glow of the fellowship must have warmed your heart. It has, hasn't it? But did I say fellowship? I mean family. For like a family, we support. Work hard. Fulfill contracts. Enlist new knights, and swiftly shall you... Of course, of course, of course. Oh.
So you're just hanging around again, are you? Waiting for what, exactly?
I'll thank you for leaving me be, you old bat.
Oh, you think you can see that winner in that moldy said I've got my eye.
This Fabulous Five business sounds too good to be true. I'm gonna pass.
Not in the mood for cheese. The excuse is more holes than a slice of this fine Auburn land.
Let's see. Halibut, sheep's cheese, tomatoes.
Made a big cheese on your...
Agreed. You came on a little bit too strongly there, buddy.
Oh, how frightfully disappointing. How illogical and short-sighted of you. To deny the Fabulous Five. It is a crime against reason and humanity. Opportunity knocks, and you close the blinds. Now, Lackey's life is yours, and by choice, too. So long. Fare thee well, though you won't.
I'm straight. I'm true. Harry's by the cousins.
Goes to and fro with the city's youth. They hustle and bustle while I sit here stagnantly.
Oh, you think you can speak that way to us? Well, the fact is that I've got my eyes. You
They say he's privy to ancient and arcane secrets, the likes of which I doubt you could even fathom, old friend.
Never saw you in the king crab before. You're welcome to scratch me behind the ears if you like. I won't scratch back.
Now, Alistair.
I am Unsinkable Sam. At least that's what they call me around here. Used to be a ship's cat, but the clipper I was on sank, and I was the only one to wrestle himself free from the waves. The people here were kind and took me in. Been the king crab's foremost patron ever since. A magnificent ship she was. Used to belong to a pirate, I was told. Unlike me, she didn't prove to be unsinkable, though. We hit the cliffs right neath the lighthouse. Not very apt a name for that. The moment I hit the water, so I was. What friends I had. They drowned along. Not that I have it bad here, mind you. I've milk and fish aplenty. Most Maxine, the mayor's darling pet. So, she likes me. I know she does. But when I declare my love, she backs away. I don't know why. I've said by all means. Oh, don't mention orcs to me. Worse than dogs, that lot. Sank Walrus Willie's boat right from under him. Best anchovy fisher in the world he was. A loss to us all. People make a fuss about them because they endanger the land.
Well, suffice to say it, I've got my eye on you, Baron.
I am a duke, potato-eating peasant. And don't forget, I'm the most eminent member of the Fabulous Five to boot. Surely you already know we've been voted the most influential adventurers guild by SideQuest Monthly. 3 years running.
Good man. Drink.
Those nasty beasts are hardly worth my time. Though I suppose I'll step in if none of the recruits manage to prove adept enough.
Pointless chatter with strangers does so thrill me. Can I tell you? I suppose I can, and I could. But why would I turn my attention away from this whiskey when Mendy... How curious of you to show interest in...
Tell me, Alistair, have you ever had the fortune of challenging the fabled wizard?
Oh, my good man. Drink, you please.
Please
do keep shouting.
They say he's privy to ancient and arcane secrets, the likes of which I doubt you could even fathom. Come now, Alistair. Surely you've met your match once or twice.
Oh, my good man. Drink, if you please.
Please do keep shouting.
That's enough of that now!
Under lock and key.
If only the popular girls from the Source Academy could see how edgy and dangerous you've become.
Appears to be locked.
It was Esmeralda who killed Councillor Jake, but I didn't see her here the night of the murder. Then again, she might have just gotten a new pair of shoes.
Careful, I've spotted a trap. Arrow of dragon's breath! Back on my feet. As good as a new penny.
Gods, leech this evil to my blood.
Stitch in time, eh, friends?
Into the fray once more.
We'll have none of that, you hear? That's enough of that now.
If only the popular girls from the Source Academy could see how edgy and dangerous you've become.
Blazing arrow! Look out! I see a trap nearby.
If only the popular girls from the Source Academy could see how edgy and dangerous you've become. If only the popular girls from the Source Academy could see how edgy and dangerous you've become.
I've got all the remedies!
If only the popular girls from the Source Academy could see how edgy and dangerous. If only the popular girls from the Source Academy could see how edgy and dangerous you've become. You're like a gorilla in a porcelain store.
Careful now, that's a trap.
I feel better already!
Oh, my good man.
They say he's privy to ancient.
Any takers? Come on, you chickens!
Join the Spud Club if you've got an eye for bar potatoes.
Don't scuttle away before you've tried some of the ocean's finest bounty. How many crab claws would you like? 3? 11?
Not in the mood for cheese. An excuse is more holes than a slice of this fine Corbin there.
Well, hello there.
Not in the mood for cheese. An excuse is more holes than a slice of this fine Corbin there.
Let's see. Halibut, sheep's cheese, tomatoes.
I'm straight. I'm true. Harry's by the dozens.
Heavenly herring, delicious dogfish. Yours for a scrap of gold each.
Lonesome, spiritless, perhaps resting upon elemental and get some living into your routine.
Watch the undead quiver in their mouldy boots.
Heavenly herring, delicious dogfish. Yours for a scrap of gold each.
I'm straight. I'm
holes to the slice of this fine golden land.
Jake murdered? Oh, yes. Yes, now I recall. Indeed. I could hardly believe it myself. The Council and I have certainly had our differences over the years, but most of the townsfolk are certain Jake's wife Esmeralda is responsible. In fact, the Legion have taken her into protective custody to keep her safe from the mob. As you can imagine, I've known Esmeralda for years. That business between her and the Duke of Ferrol was always a bit, suggestive. But I've never had cause to suspect her of violence. Still, one never knows for sure. An all right bloke, apart from all this Esmeralda nonsense. The whole town knows the only goal of his business trips to Sicil is to spend a night or two at the King Crab Inn with Mrs. Counselor. What? The undead? Yes, for the past 2 years those blasted skeletons have all but What of what now? Ah, you mean the staff of Pergamon. Yes, yes. I was expecting a shipment of weapons, and among the cargo... Cecil proved an old fool, though. For the merchant slated to deliver it to me has just informed me that the damn thing has gone missing. I fear it may have fallen into the wrong hands. The staff itself contains a shard of an ore, highly valued for its use in the weapons of war. I know use of the material to be forbidden, but I was desperate to do something to aid the townsfolk against the undead. His name is Conrad, captain of the Tide Splitter, a merchant ship still docked at the Sicil harbor. You can talk to him if you think it'd help, but I'd quite like to avoid getting the Legion involved, if you don't mind. Well, I do believe that's something your parents ought to have discussed with you long ago, Source Hunter. But I suppose if you really don't know... you see, when a lady and a fellow find each other rather nice, well, this is nonsense. I'm the mayor for the 7th sake. I can't be bothered to chat all day about the birds and the bees when Sicil's under siege by orcs, undead, and cultists. That depends. What kind of berries are you interested in? The library. Yes, yes, you must have a visit. It's the gem of Sicil. Would you like to have a look?
Now, this is valuable.
The Lesser Key of Salacandras. Ugh, what nonsense. The Encyclopedia Daemonium. I know it by heart.
When I was very young, you see, I must have been cast out by my tribe, for I was found in a wicker basket floating past Sicil toward the sea. The fisherman who found me would have drowned me on the spot, for I am an orc after all. But praise be Amon Hor, Dear Cecil was among the gathered. He raised me like I was his own. This kindest of souls taught me the language of men, their customs and their letters. Thus, I became the city's librarian, a position I uphold with no small diligence and pride. Indeed you may. The wisdom I here hoard is yours to peruse and even take with you. All I can ask...
I've got my eyes on the prize.
Cache de Nord.
This isn't the
The
grimoire
brief history
I'm
of
looking
sorcery
for.
still hasn't been
The
returned.
pseudo-monarchia
Kelleron, well,
demo.
that's enough of that now.
Most promising. The lesser key of Sadakandras. Ugh, what nonsense.
Who placed this book here? A volume of poetry among novels? Urak! What mayhem. The knight in see-through armor, Princess Buttercup with the blushing bottom, Stenteken. Esmeralda does have a propensity for all things naughty, hasn't she?
Now, I hate what I hunt. This is a sentiment I'm quite certain you must recognize. Let there be on one condition. That on our joint travels we will never deal with demonic entities, no matter how tempting their propositions. Give me your word on this, and I'll...
The knight in see-through armor, Princess Buttercup with the blushing bottom, Stenteken. Esmeralda does have a propensity for all things naughty, hasn't she?
I don't like to make promises I may not be able to keep, so I must decline your offer.
Who placed this book here? A volume of poetry among novels? Urak! What mayhem. Who placed this
I
book
concur. Some temptations just cannot be resisted.
Oh, simple souls. Oh, doomed spirits.
Any real damage? Are you joking? I've been mauled. I'll be disfigured for life.
Ah, come on.
Beyond these walls, the dead roam free, Hunter. Be vigilant.
She bit me in the face.
Look on the bright side. Everyone knows the ugly soldiers are the most ferocious.
Ugly'll be the least of it. The beast looks rabid.
In that case, you'll have the pleasure of putting her down yourself.
I wish for you to try, screech woman.
The beast speaks, so you've half a brain behind that feral maul, have you?
The cretin's question crossed her lips and aped an air of aptitude.
Hey, Tull, I think that was an insult.
Don't pay attention to the beast, Furious. You'll only encourage it.
Those bolts embarrass a bridge crew. Get to shining, recruits.
Easy, Tull. That's the source hunter you're talking to.
Sir! No, sir!
Attention! About face! Do the barracks! Notch! Recruits! That was sloppier than Sicilian stew. Again! Those boots that embarrass a bridge troll. Get to shining, recruits.
Sorry, sir.
You think that's funny, Private?
Sir! No, sir!
She may have the look of a woman if you squint hard enough, but she's no more than a wild animal.
Those boots that embarrass a bridge troll. Get to shining, recruits.
We got reports of a strange-looking outsider skulking through the town with her bow drawn. I found her crouched behind a tree, taking aim at a fat old rat trotting along the city walls. I tapped her on the shoulder to see what was what, and the beast startled like a wild cat and lunged right at me.
Bit Tullia right in the face, she did. It wasn't pretty, and now it's got a chunk ripped off it to boot.
Enjoy it while you can, Ver. There's not another legionnaire in the cohort that'll have you if I go rabid.
Face! Do the barracks.
Well, that's to be decided. She doesn't seem to be sick, despite Tully's moaning. We can't keep her here forever, but we can't well send her into the wilds again, can we?
Attention! About face! Do the barracks! Notch! Recruits! That was sloppier than Sicilian stew. Again! Those boots that embarrass a bridge troll. Get to shining, recruits.
Sorry, sir.
You think that's funny, Private?
Sir! No, sir!
We're here to hunt source, not play babysitter. Sorry, but we can't take responsibility for a stranger.
Emphasis on the strange? No. This feral stray is hardly our responsibility.
Can't say I'm surprised. You wouldn't want an untamed thing like...
If I've got my say, we'll take her into the woods and...
About face! Do the barracks! Notch!
You don't think it's infected, do you?
Come on now, I told her off you.
We'll have none of that, you hear?
clinking? I think someone's got keys in their pocket.
Quiet! No talking to these scoundrels, criminal scum!
I think that skeleton is alive!
Excuse me, Grabby Gus. This is a Legion.
Come on with the dramatics. It's not as bad as all that.
The face, Furious. She bit me in the face.
Look on the bright side. Everyone knows the ugly soldiers are the most ferocious.
Uglier be sorry, Robin.
In that case, you'll have the pleasure of putting her down yourself.
I wish for you to try and screech
So you've half a brain behind that feral wall, have you?
The Cretan's question and aimed an air of aptitude.
About
Hey, no. I think that was an insult.
To the barracks! Nuts! Recruits! That was sloppier than Sicilian stew. Again!
You don't think it's infected, do you?
Come on now. I pulled her off you before she could do any real damage.
Thank the seven, we've secured the perimeter. Potions to bemuscle you, scrolls to entwine you.
That thief is free for now. But I wonder how long it'll be until his growling bed.
A good day to you.
Ha! The closest I've got to my match is when I linger over long while lighting my pipe.
Careful now. Your head's very nice swirling in the saddle.
What happened? Is this a dream?
I don't think so. That stone. Somehow it sent us flying into the stars.
Terrible! Terrible! By the quill that lasts a billion words, what's this? Two Rivalonians here? At the end of space and time? How very, very, very curious. Oh, yes. Proper introductions. Zigzags the historian at your service. It is my job to record all that was, and is, and hopefully all that is to be. As for how I got here, well, for a historian appointed by the gods themselves, hopping to the end of time is as easy as 1, 2, 3. How you got here, though? That's a rather more interesting question. On such a tiny and rapidly shrinking vestige of space and time, I wouldn't have expected to find a soul but my own shadow. Ah, at last a question I can answer most definitively. I mentioned already that this place is the end of time. If that didn't send your heart into your stomach and your pulse a-flutter, it should have. Time ought naturally to have no end at all. Indeed, I can think of no worse nightmare for a chronicler such as myself. But something totally, utterly terrible. Show, don't tell, I always say. So go, peer through yonder looking lens and feast your soon-to-be terrified eyes on the darkness that is approaching.
You know, I think that imp may be quite...
You looked. You saw. Terrifying, isn't... What's this? The portal. It's... Those torches! A light! This portal active once more! It cannot be coincidence. It's not that I believe, it's that I have seen! Long have I been waiting here, hoping that one day this very portal would ignite. Then, no longer than a few mere moments after you arrive, zap it goes! The chronicler of time knows a pattern when he sees one. Goodness me, how right you are! There's so much to take in, I'd nearly forgotten. And what you saw has been... It is the void itself! The dragon that is devouring creation! When I speak of the end of time, this is exactly what I mean. I can't say for sure where it came from, how or why, but I do know this. It's shrinking our future by the second. And if we don't stop it, it will devour the though I cannot say for certain if it is what I believe. In fact, every last question that ever plagued your noggin might well be answered, for I believe what lies beyond this portal is nothing other than... But why spoil the mystery? As soon as we leap through, we'll find out after you, after you. Oh, what... You first, but don't... Yes! Just as I hoped! There she is!
The wild ride continues. Seems the imp has spotted exactly who and what he'd hoped to find here.